So no one that's closer to the border understands the plight of immigrants and refugees that reach our border. And no one stood taller in voicing a demand that America treat them well, treat the children well, treat the parents well when they reached our border. It was a very clear, resounding voice against all of that hatred and bigotry when they came to our border last year, the tens of thousands of children. The congressman from Arizona, Raul Grijalva.
Thank you. Thank you, Luis, and let me thank my colleague, Mr. Castro, for his hospitality in initiating the idea, and to Zoe and Lucille and Luis for putting the trip together. I'm glad to go there. For me, it's not a trip, and I think, and Lucille said it really well, the whole idea of detention for women and children that are in the process of attempting to get refugee and asylum status in this country is abhorrent. It's wrong. Women and children in detention for a civil violation as opposed to any criminal activity that one can point to. It's wrong. And so it's not about tinkering how you make their situation so much more comfortable and better, but fundamentally to raise the issue of why they are in there in the first place. The other thing I think different from the eloquence of my colleagues is the whole. These are private for-profit detention centers contracted with Homeland Security. In Eloy, 200 persons are doing a fast in that detention center, private for-profit as well. 2 unexplained deaths, 1 suicide, 1 still unresolved. And that's why we've asked the new Attorney General that an immediate investigation has to occur in Eloy and in that detention center. I mentioned that 63% of the $2 billion that we've spent in detention goes to the private prison industry in this country. Lack of transparency, and I would say Homeland Security, lack of oversight, and lack of real due process, because many things are proprietary to those private firms. So it's an opportunity to do 2 things, and I'm so glad for this trip to talk about conditions and why women and children are there, and the treatment in other facilities, but to also shine a light on the private prison industry for what they have contributed. This industry wrote 1070 in Arizona. Coincidentally, they have a guaranteed minimum from Homeland Security that they must have 34,000 beds occupied. So you have a private prison industry essentially deciding for ICE and Homeland Security who gets in and when they leave. And I think that is too much policy power for them. And I think this trip will give us an opportunity to look at policies, look at some corrective measures that need to be taken, and bring a very strong light on the women and children that are in detention. With that, let me thank everybody that organized it, and thank you very much.